Ready. Do warm up,
And we're back at the track, and it's going to be a killer session today. We're going for 6 by 1600 meters, so that's 6 by a mile, and we're doing that with 1 minute and 20 seconds between each mile as rest. And this is going to be a quick one. So that fella in the pink shorts just in front of me, that is Dom. Dom is a HYROX champion. He's run a 57-minute HYROX, and I'm going to be trying to keep up with Dom during this run today. It's going to be really tough, but I'm going to see if I can stick with him for the majority of this workout. So a little bit of background about Dom. First of all, he is a phenomenal athlete. A 57-minute HYROX is insane. He won the men's open division very recently in Shanghai. Dom has also done very, very well in the pro doubles, having won pro doubles events as well. And for those of you who don't know, HYROX is a combo strength and endurance event. There's 8 kilometers of running, and then there's also 8 stations between each kilometer of running. Let's check back in with the running now.
All right. That's about 3:25 pace.
So for this workout, we're targeting a 3:30 minutes per kilometer pace. That's around 5:36 minutes per mile. So on each rep, we're going to be aiming for around that 5:36 mark. But back to Dom, you might be curious about just how quick at running a champion HYROX athlete is. And I can assure you that the very best HYROX athletes are phenomenal runners. So just last week here on the track, Dom ran a 35:28 minute 10K. He wasn't satisfied with that. He believes he can go even lower, but a 35:28 is a phenomenal time regardless. And we're now around 700 meters through this first rep, and we are doing pretty good at holding that 3:25 to 3:30 minute pace. Heart rate for me right now is 160. I believe Dom is a little bit lower at this point. When we've run together in the past, he is better able to control his heart rate than me, and that just indicates that better running ability. But I'm going to try and stick with him for as long as possible. And we were able to hold that pace pretty well, and we came through the first mile in a 5:43. So a little bit slower than our target pace, but not by far, and there's 5 more reps to go, so we'll be building into this session. Now, one of the things that makes this workout so challenging is the relatively short rest time. So we have just 1 minute and 20 seconds to recover right now. And hopefully that heart rate is gonna drop as I recover in this brief period of time.
Yeah. Dom, let's move up to the 200, like, so I can, I don't know where the 200 split is.
Yeah.
So yeah, this will help.
So we're just going to move up to the line for the second rep, mainly because I'm somewhat obsessive and I want to know exactly where that 200 mark is. Heart rate has dropped into the 130s, which is great. This is good recovery, and we're off with the second rep. I'm going to see how long I can stay with Dom. So that's 1 rep down. Let's see how many I can make it through whilst sticking to this HYROX champion. And Dom is making it extra hard on himself. He's been running in lane 2. I've been hugging the inside line on lane 1. And in fact, if you're running in lane 2, it works out to about 7 meters extra per lap. And that does add up. So the pace that I'm running, 3:30 minutes per kilometer, Dom is probably running 2 or 3 seconds per kilometer quicker than me, just as a result of running in lane 2. And so far, things are looking pretty good. We're still holding around that 3:25 to 3:30 pace. And we're just trying to build into this workout. Both of us are trying to settle down because we know there is quite a lot of distance still to cover. This is an objectively tricky workout. 9.6 Ks on the track is quite a distance. So we're just trying to find a good rhythm on the second rep. And coming into the line now, this second mile was a 5:39, so a couple seconds quicker than the first rep, and so far things are looking very good. And I'm going to take a quick gel here. I'm going to try and get on board 30 grams of carbs. And I took a gel right before the session as well. This is one of these things that I'm trying to get better at, especially for these high-intensity sessions, which are so energetically demanding. I think it's a good idea to try and get some fuel on board, and that's what I'm doing now. We're into the third mile now, and both of us are just trying to get through this one. Once we're through the third mile, we know that it is halfway done. This one came in at a 5:38, so we're moving in the right direction, heading down towards that target pace of 5:36. And we're just going to reflect a little bit on the pace at the moment.
I reckon we do one at 3:40.
Yeah. That's like we're near the limit already.
I think so, yeah. To do another 3 at that will be tough.
Yeah. That was bang 3:30 pace.
Was it?
Yep. I was right on it.
So we're halfway through this workout and it's starting to feel real tough. So we've just had a little bit of a discussion and we're going to drop it down to 3:40 pace for this next mile. And then we'll try and push into those last 2 miles. So we're now about to jump into that 4th mile, and the pace, we are going to try and keep it around 3:40 for this one. And let's see if we can regain some of that strength, and then we'll end to close out this workout strong. And this really is the benefit of doing a session like this with someone else. I feel like if I was doing the session on my own, I may well have stopped now. I may well have stopped at the end of this 3rd mile. But just having Dom there, it's just somebody to fight with, someone to battle with, and we're going to keep each other going. We're both feeling fatigued here, but we're going to push through this 4th rep, and we're going to make it to the end of this workout, even though it's starting to get very tricky indeed. We're going a little bit faster than HYROX race pace, but in terms of the mental effort, it's right there. Like a HYROX feels about this tough. So this is really good training, both physiologically and also from a mental perspective. And our 4th mile is going to come in at 5:47. So it is a little bit slower, but still a very good pace.
A little bit easier. I think creeping into the 3:20s is
Yeah, that really gets you.
too aggressive.
Once you start getting close to that 5K pace.
Yeah.
All right.
Especially with another
2 of these.
3 points to go.
Out.
And we're away again. And this 5th mile is going to be tough. We're going to try and find that speed again. One thing that's happening at this point, heart rate is starting to drift. So here's the heart rate data from this session. And this is the 3rd rep there. This is the 4th rep. On this 5th rep, the heart rate is starting to rise. And this is just making it feel a whole lot tougher. So this really is the meaty portion of the workout. And this is now coming around the bend into the end of the 5th mile, and you can see that my heart rate is 182. My max heart rate is 186, so we're already getting very close to a max effort. And this 5th mile is done in 5:41, so a couple seconds quicker than that last one. Hands straight on the knees. You can see that with each lap, I'm getting more and more fatigued.
Is it got to just grind it out?
Yeah. I can take the first 1 or 2.
Yeah.
Like that 3:30, 3:30.
And then we go.
And then
Yeah. Empty the tank.
So just 1 more mile to go, and we're strategizing about how we're going to get it done. This one, we're going to leave nothing on the table. And last mile, we did close it out with a 5:30. So the quickest of the entire session, which is just phenomenal. Just the fact that we had that endurance to push to the end. Here are the full splits from today. You can see just how good we were at maintaining roughly that 3:25 to 3:35 pace. So overall, a phenomenal session. My next race is in 10 days' time. I'm going to do the Hoka Half Marathon, and then HYROX is going to be in about 12 weeks. So still have plenty of time to prepare.